Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't seen the first part of the story, make sure to check out the previous video on this channel. Now let's continue our journey and make a stop at the broadcast control center. It seems like we did a good job managing the Christmas events. We had several special projects in connection with the holiday and my team did a great job executing them. However, the festivities aren't over yet. The real fun is just beginning because the New Year's celebration is only a few days away. One of the main tasks of our team on the New Year's Eve was to ensure that the countdown timer was visible from all around the promenade. We installed two TV screens on the bridge facing opposite directions. The crew staff and stage production teams have done an outstanding job of hanging up the nets with hundreds of balloons. F&B team is sure to blow the minds of thousands of people with the delicious treats and drink options available. After all hard work, our countdown is stable and working perfectly. We are ready to ring in the new year. Happy New Year, folks!
Okay, Michael, what do you wanna...
What do I want to say?
Yeah.
Spread the love.
If you are thinking that the entire crew worked hard to make this night happen, you're absolutely right. Every crew member did their best to ensure that everything on board runs smoothly. However, at this moment, some of us have already completed our duties. Let's go check out what's happening on the back deck. Oh yeah, Happy New Year to all my beautiful people! This is the time for another NFL Sunday, and right now I set 6 receivers to receive 6 different games simultaneously. This is the maximum amount of the games what we can get at the same time. I also send these games to the Playmakers bar where people watching games. Today we have Dolphins. Then the signal is distributed through various channels to the TVs in the guest staterooms and the crew cabins. It is just to refresh where we are and what is going on. Another sail away out from Miami, and this time with 70,000 tons of metal, the world's biggest heavy metal cruise, where we expect to see more than 120 concerts in 5 days. Tech support we provide for a charter can be quite demanding at times. Main stage construction is already in progress. We set up the client's laptop to the LED wall. That's great. The same as like for the previous Jamrock cruise, we also set up some channels, special channels for this charter. To be precise, we have 5 channels replaced. A daily compass, as you can see, we just changed the design a little bit, so we set the logo of this cruise. All the bands that playing today are listed here. This is the merchandise queue. This is the merchandise showcase. Quite literally the storefront where you can browse for the souvenirs and clothes with the 70s design. And this is the live feed from Studio B, where we have another stage. And it seems like the setup is complete and some bands are doing their sound checks. Band will start playing very soon, maybe next 10-15 minutes. Surprisingly quiet on the promenade. Okay, let's check back later. Right now, the third stage is being set up inside the lounge. And the fourth stage is being prepared in the theater. In the name of the mosh pit, about 5 rows of spectator seats were dismantled here. After everything was set up and ready, the ship came alive with loud events happening in every corner. The main stage on the pool deck took the spotlight as the world's biggest open-air stage structure to sail the open seas. Heavy metal legends graced the stage, delivering electrifying performances for fans from all over the world. I had the opportunity to capture some shots of the incredible live performances by Amorphis and Dragon Force bands. Studio B is anything but peaceful, as a heavy session takes place within its wall as well. Let's switch gears and head over to the theater, where something truly special is happening. Nightwish is gracing the stage tonight, and their performance is absolutely mind-blowing. The mosh pit is alive with energy as fans lose themselves in the music. It is a sight to behold, showcasing the incredible atmosphere on board this cruise. Take a moment to witness the incredible work of the security team as they bring the wild fans back to the ground after being washed up by a wave of the crowd under the stage. It's almost reminiscent of caring veterinarians gently guiding a newborn calf. Oh, this is so cute. The next morning, to my surprise, the ship was unusually quiet and serene. We had arrived at our port of Colby Mini. It seemed that most of the guests had disembarked to enjoy some fun and adventure ashore. I took a few shots from the open deck, and it struck me as a beautiful place. It wouldn't be a big deal if I disappeared for a few hours to explore. I grabbed my Canon R7 to conduct some camera tests around the island. I and these awesome folks had a quick swim before heading back to the ship. I quickly changed into the proper armor and embarked on a mission to the pool deck. The stage was set for yet another legendary performance, this time by the mighty Creator. Another day with 70,000 tons of metal on board, and today we are at sea on our way back to Miami. This is the Bailey Flop competition that I have already told you about in the previous episode. This time the competition is hosted by a charismatic lady from the charter team. Michael is in charge of capturing all the action on camera so that we can broadcast it on the ship's TV.
3, 2, 1.
The final night of the 78 tons of metal cruise kicked off with another electrifying live performance on the theater stage. But the real highlight awaits us on the main stage upstairs. Highly anticipated Nightwish concert taking place on the world's biggest open-air stage structure to ever sail the open seas. Despite the challenges we faced throughout the preparation process and during the cruise, being part of the technical team for this monumental event has been an incredible experience. Upon our return to Miami, the vibrant atmosphere of heavy metal cruise was replaced by a new wave of vacationers. The ship quickly transformed as we prepared to welcome a different kind of crowd. With the charter now behind us and the workload eased, let's see what other aspects of our work on board we have to explore. Folks, in this and previous videos on the channel I have mentioned the satellite antennas housed with the domes on the boat, the starboard and port side of the ship, However, I believe it's time to take a look inside the dome and see what it looks like. What do you think? Join me! Welcome to the bubble. Let's see what we have here. A rotary pedestal, UPS for the power failures, the satellite dish itself. Since we are already here, let's try to trace the entire signal path. Low noise block down converter that receives the signal collected by the satellite dish. Further, as you can see, our cable runs here, and then it goes over there, and after that it goes inside the pedestal, where it passes the slip rings that allow for the transmission of electrical signal between the stationary and rotating parts of the antenna. So then signal comes to this box where we have multiple transmitters. The optical signal passes through this junction box. The signal then embarks on a long journey throughout the entire ship, traveling from deck 12 to deck 3 and received by our receivers downstairs, which I have already shown you before. It's getting a little stuffy in here, so I suggest we get out of here. I must admit that our work routine as a broadcast team mostly takes place at night, as we provide support for the main activities and events that typically occur when the guests are back on board and the ship has set sail. Right now is 11:30 p.m. and our team is busy providing video support for the Crazy Quest game show in Studio B, hosted by the cruise director. In the office, Lucas is skillfully operating the switcher, sending instant replays to the screen in Studio B. Meanwhile, Michael is on the floor, capturing everything with quite a heavy shoulder camera rig setup. Let's take a moment to marvel in slow motion at how beautiful our job can be sometimes. One of the viewers asked in the comments how often things don't go according to plan. Well, this question may seem strange to me, it's a fact that our whole life doesn't go according to plan, right? But to answer the question, I would say that it happens quite often, as it did recently, for instance. Our digital content specialist Brian finished his contract a few cruises ago and went on vacation. However, we haven't got a replacement yet. I have had to take on his duties, which is quite challenging, given that I have never done this job before. Nevertheless, I had to step in, or all digital signage on ship would just show random information. So I'm taking an emergency course to study this position right now. Currently, all our digital signs are working correctly and displaying the latest information. So in general, unexpected problems arise almost every day and we have to be ready to face them. On one hand, there are moments when life on board feels like a recurring cycle reminiscent of Groundhog Day. Yet on the other hand, without the ship, I may have never had the opportunity to enjoy Florida's cityscapes. So now again we bid farewell to this beautiful city, only to return to equally breathtaking islands. Given the limited options available to us, let's venture out and explore Nassau. Initially, we will likely come across a myriad of shops, boutiques and cafes, as is the case in most ports. However, instead of settling for the usual attractions, why not cross the bridge to the second island? The main highlight here is the sprawling Atlantis complex and its accompanying infrastructure. And taking a walk here is certainly worthwhile, the longer the better. It can even be a bit risky with a camera because there is so much to capture at once. Literally, I have visited this place only twice during my contract. If you are considering working on a cruise ship, expectations might not always match up with reality, especially when it comes to the free time in ports. Take Nassau for instance. It's a stunning place with tons to see and do from Atlantis to the beaches. You might think you can just hop on in a taxi and take off an adventure, but work comes first, my friend. You need to be back on the ship on time. Most crew members only get an hour or two to grab a burger, coffee and catch some free Wi-Fi. I wish I had more opportunities to explore and go further. Miami is the same. There is so much to see and do in that massive city, it's hard to know where to start. But for most of us, we are lucky if we can carve out a few hours to hit up Marshall's or Ross, grab a cup of coffee and maybe snack a bite to eat if we are lucky. And I haven't even had time for that yet. Thankfully, the cruise terminal isn't too far from the downtown area and plenty of cool hangout spots. But if you are trying to get to Miami Beach, for instance, or anywhere else, you better have some extra cash for a taxi and enough free time to actually use it. Lincoln Road is a pretty awesome spot to take a stroll, but let's be real, work always comes first. And depending on your role on the ship, you might be swamped with the duties every time when we are docked in Miami. That's just the way it goes sometimes. But hey, let's not focus on negative. It's time to get back on board and see what adventures await us next. Tonight the highly anticipated big game is taking place and the opening performance has already kicked off. As the Super Bowl is the major event, guests all over the ship are eager to watch the game wherever possible. To ensure everyone can enjoy, I've set up playmakers to the TV walls. Casino also has a game on the TV just in case. The theater is the most spectacular spot tonight. The setup is magnificent, with the large screen creating the perfect atmosphere for the game. Full deck is not left empty either, as the big screen there is also broadcasting the game. Sometimes our job boils down to simply clicking buttons, and we have plenty of different buttons to handle. But this can only happen smoothly when all the links in the chain of the signal path are well maintained. Then we feel a sense of calm and people have fun and enjoy the time on board. So guys, throughout this video we have covered a lot of ground. We started with the Jamrock charter in the first episode, celebrated Christmas and New Year's Eve, then moved on to the epic 70s K Tons of Metal charter. I also showed you the antenna setup, and the exciting NFL season is finally done. Now I can't forget about Kronos and what else? It seems like this is it. My 7-month contract is coming to an end. As always, there's so many tasks that need to be completed, and it's hard to keep track of everything. But in just a few days, I will be getting off the Freedom for the last time. During my contract, I must have crossed Studio B a couple hundred times. Like any other large venue, it takes on mysterious or at night when there is nobody around. And I'm wondering, perhaps life on board sometimes feels mundane simply because the road from work back to home takes just a quick 2-minute stroll? I'm done. Well folks, we have reached the end of this video and I appreciate you sticking around till the end. I hope it wasn't boring for you. There is so much more that goes on behind the scenes that I would love to share with you. I didn't even touch on drills and safety responsibilities that every crew member has, nor did I have the time to delve into topics like food and overall life on the ship. I didn't tell you about the various troubleshooting situations we encountered during our work. I hope you understand that when we faced with an issue, the last thing on my mind is to film a vlog. In the meantime, you can find answers to some of your questions in the previous videos on my channel. At the end, I want to express my gratitude to everyone I had the privilege of spending these 7 months on board the Freedom of the Seas with. And of course, special shout out goes to my amazing team. It was an incredible journey, guys, and your team spirit made it a pleasure to work together. American, Ukrainian, Argentinian, and Filipino. This is the real dream team. Thank you, mates. And until we meet again. Thank you for joining this video, guys. I hope you like it. If yes, you know what to do. Other than that, come sail with us. Come work with us. I hope to see you in the next video on this channel. Bye bye for now.